get a full body movement, you know, full squat, full lift, deadlift, basically deadlift to a pull to then squatting underneath it. So
imagine you could do a deadlift into an RDL, into a high pull, into a front squat. If you told somebody like those lifts, those exercises, they'd be like, yeah, those are great exercises. Then you combine them into a clean and you say, yeah, you got to learn how to clean. Wow, I don't know about that. That's tough. That's really hard to learn those progressions. We're going to go into the insane workout of Skattebo. And we're going to start right now. Okay, so we've all seen Arizona State and just dragging dudes everywhere, shoulders popping out here. He's making one-handed catches. He's just running everybody over. He's puking on the sideline. It's absolutely insane to watch this dude. And we're going to go into what has led to this development. We're going to go into his workouts. And I want to point out this dude, okay? So we're going to go into his workout. And you're going to see in his workout what he does. What got him to be so grindy? And we got to think through that lens of, okay, he's fast, he's explosive, he's very strong, he runs dudes over, okay? And then we're going to go into some even more of his plays, but we're going to really break down some of his training so that we can see the type of athlete he is. And we've all seen him doing his backflips. He's probably very, very strong pound for pound. And when you're strong pound for pound, right, you have good relative strength, that likely means you're also very fast. And we also have to think through the lens that when you are playing a sport like football, you are going to be coming into contact, so you need to move heavy weight fast. That might tip the scale of what type of lifting he does. But before we get to that point where I want to say, I told you so, we're going to look at some of his cool stuff from his combine. Now, I actually want to watch this. This was his vertical jump that we found where he's going 39.5 inches on the touch. 39.5 inches is absolutely fantastic. And when you have someone who might be slightly undersized, he's not tall, right? Everybody's concern is, oh, well, he's only, 5'8", 5'9", I think he's 5'8", 5'9", right? But guess what? If he's got a vert that's 5 inches higher than everybody else, it doesn't matter that much, right? So we're in that scenario and that analysis. I just want to, before we even watch what he does, 39.5 inches, because it just looks like he's floating. It's interesting because, we can look at these old comments here, and y'all thought he wasn't athletic, right? He's a real deal. Best running back in the draft. I don't know about that. Absolutely fantastic jump. Let's watch this again. And you can just see it. It's almost as though he's floating. And I want to pay attention to his squat depth, his counter movement. He goes to about a quarter squat. Great. Good quarter squat. Good reach. Lands. I want to go back and let's watch this again. Let's see when he does his counter movement, are his feet staying flat? Yep. And then he has this slight shift where he lengthens his Achilles and then leads to a good freaking jump. Now let's watch his arm swing. Okay, let's go back and watch his arm swing. He keeps his chest up, right? Watch his arm swing again. Let's watch that again because it's gonna happen on us a little quickly. There you go. So you see how he stays more upright on the counter movement. Okay, he does jump forward a hair. I want to watch this one more time because he had already jumped, so he probably hit about 39 or 38.5, and then I think he does hit 38.5 and then adds another inch. So that's an absolutely fantastic vert. So almost near a 40-inch vertical, just like our guy, Evan Garrett. If you guys are watching this and you want to get a 40-inch vert, we've got athletes on site here who have 40-inch verticals. Look up George Parkinson. Dude just got offers from Ohio State, Oregon, all these top-notch Power 4 football programs. Our strength training program is known as Peak Strength. You can click the first link in the description, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store, start getting training. Now, let's look at this actual workout. So we're going to look at his training. We want to break down what are some of the things that he's doing. Okay? Pretty rudimentary stuff. Now, I want to point out that Skattebo, when he came out of high school, if I remember correctly, he went to Sac State. Okay, so was never really highly recruited. Was there for 2 years, transferred up to Arizona State, didn't really play for a year at Arizona State, and then took off.
I feel at home. if you can see yourself 5 years into the NFL.
Oh, it's interesting. If you can see yourself in 5 years at the NFL, so you can see simple stuff he's doing here.
You have to make sure you're in shape, making sure that you're prepared for whatever comes at you. Give me that opportunity, I'll show them why they're right. Cameron Skattebo, running back, Arizona State. This is no days off.
No days off. Notice.
Now, I'm just training for, obviously, the draft.
Goes through a nice, easy warm-up, okay? And if we even go back while they're doing that warm-up, so we're looking at some situations there. I want to just go back and watch this clean technique, because imagine that, guys. Imagine that. Someone who wasn't highly recruited got better than all the guys that got the fancy stuff, that got the functional training, that got all the tools. And what were they doing? He was doing high bar back squats. He was doing full range of motion squats. He's doing cleans where he makes contact off his thighs. And that's how the dudes get better that are athletes here that maybe aren't the genetic freaks. They get better from the lifts that freaking transfer. Okay. And this is an absolute case in point. You guys want to worry about all the VBT stuff, and we use VBT. Okay. You want to worry about 1080s. You want to worry about all that, and all that stuff matters. It matters. It definitely matters. But if you want to be a normal dude and you want to get to the top, you got to do lifts that freaking matter. Lifts that get you to move heavyweight fast. Because guess what happens when you make contact with a linebacker as a freaking running back? You got to move heavyweight like an opposing figure, like a linebacker, fast when you make that contact. So I wanted to point that out there. Doing some footwork drills. Okay, so he's getting through his warm-up, and then he works through this, gets into, they start talking about some of the work that he's doing, and then we can start to see
To higher standards. It takes a lot of recovery, and it takes
doing a lot of mobility work. What's inside Peak Strength, our strength training app? We get all the mobility work for you. You guys get that training in, you finish out your workout, you click on that mobility.
making sure that you're loosening up your body, because when you don't, you can get yourself hurt.
Some of the funniest stuff I've heard Pat McAfee say about Cam Skattebo. His head's the size of the table.
He has to make sure that you're loose before you get going. High squat didn't really work out that much. Kind of just went off my natural ability. Going into college, I understood how much it took to, actually be at the level you want to be at. Take it serious. This is more for glutes, balance, making sure you're staying low, helping your body stay situated in the right position.
Okay, so side band walks, monster band walks, doing some good work side to side.
My footwork is good enough to stay where I want to go.
World's greatest stretch.
Draft when you go to rookie mini.
People, actually, we just posted a video on Instagram today. One of our girls just cleaned 220, who's a snowboarder. And it's like, imagine you could do a deadlift into an RDL, into a high pull, into a front squat. If you told somebody like those lifts, those exercises, they'd be like, yeah, those are great exercises. Then you combine them into a clean and you say, you got to learn how to clean. I don't know about that. That's tough. That's really hard to learn those progressions. Fortunately, we provide that for you. But let's watch his technique, because he's solid, stays flat-footed for a long period, makes good contact, good mobility, great mobility here, which helps him play low. Nice plantar flexion on the finish there, all right? So look, he goes 185, looks like here. Nice plantar flexion, nice easy pop. The dude's quads are huge.
So if something does happen during the season, you can secure that with the muscle you've built.
Clean, that's like my favorite lift. It's like running someone over. You're dropping and you're exploding forward. Imagine that. The dudes that have the experience, the dudes that are sitting there with all of the experience.
Think about
Interesting.
body, you're dropping down, exploding through weight. So
I followed him his entire, ASU career. My sister-in-law cheered at ASU on that run that they made it to the Peach Bowl is awesome. I've been an ASU fan my entire life, and the only Sun Devil I can compare him to is Pat Tillman.
385.
Full squat. It's badass. We took Cam through some stuff. He's
385 on the clean.
drills, just got him moving.
385 clean. You can't avoid the lift. Stop it.
just kind of highlight what he's good at, that balance.
Keeps the bar tight, good quads, good catch.
The things that make
very stable on that catch. That's what, 225?
Your footwork. All of it's pretty similar depending on what position you play, but
Dude's just jumping right to 275, 125 kilos.
over others, no music. You gotta find your inner strength.
Drop, go.
The music keeps you vibing. No music, you gotta fight through all the pain. You just don't go all the way. You power catch it, and then you just squat it. It's like going all the way down is easier because you can get underneath it. You don't have to get it as high. Power catching, you're throwing it up here and just catching it. I played offense and defense growing up, running back and linebacker. So being 5'9" and through 7'8", I
Okay, so he's 5'9". That's a good.
is the way to go, and that's what I'm going to be successful.
Good for us to be aware.
Year,
5'9". Well, that was like Barry Sanders, right?
that's what I have to get the best at. So going into my junior,
Good squat depth,
I had a really good season my junior year,
high bar.
and that was kind of the focus. Is I realized that I'm a running back now, and that the defensive side of the ball can kind of take a step back. Not as big as I want.
Squatting in the squishy shoes, though. I wish he wasn't squatting in the squishy shoes. Probably doing that just for the video.
Form, just staying perfectly square, wearing this. So if you were wide, you were forcing your knees more. So when you do push out, it's just you're not stressing any extra. There's NFL running backs that do it all different ways. So you have to pick a little bit from everybody. I wouldn't say anybody specific I take my game from, but I'm very physical. I'm very agile. I can move. I can go around you. I can go through you, and I can catch the ball around you or over the top. So I kind of feel like I can do it all. Very versatile, and making sure that I don't close my game off to one specific thing. Combine training is a lot of explosion work, like squat, deadlift, box jumps, all that stuff. It was awesome, meeting all the new coaches.
Squats, cleans, box jumps. He did say deadlift, but I'm going to try and ignore that one. He's moving things fast, going through those different positions. Dude's a bruiser, and when we want to think about football, you've got to think about how fast you are, okay, how strong you're going to be when you make contact. Back squat is unbeatable for a lift to improve all that. There's a reason why he's got 39.5-inch vertical. He's got 315 on right now, just moving it like cake, smooth, getting good depth, great mobility. Talked about his warm-ups and on the impact that proper warm-ups have on him.
If it's play your own ball, if you play your own game and you master what you're good at, that's what's going to put you forward for success. You have to understand that you can't let somebody else derail who you are and what is going to set your path. If you're good at what you do, that's why you become successful. And that I'm making sure that I'm doing the right things to be prepared and be successful at the next level. Favorite AZ spot? Golf course. I think I played golf twice without being in Arizona. Got to Arizona, fell in love with golf. Not too bad, about a 20 handicap. I should always play better when I work out first because I'm loose. And I don't have enough strength to kill it because I'm tired. So everything's smooth. Hopefully somebody calls my phone between April 24th and April 26th, and I get the opportunity to play at the next level and make sure that when that happens, I'm prepared to be in the right position. There's going to be some successes and there's going to be some failures.
Just watching his clean technique, I think it's like some of the big takeaways immediately before we get into these other videos. It's like he's got crazy pop, he's got crazy hops, right? And it comes from building that base. So when we're setting up a program, we've got to think through, okay, when can we do the weightlifting movement like a clean?
I can do a backflip on this thing.
When can we do movements like mobility? Clearly, he's got great mobility. We got to do that as a warm-up. We got to do that at the end of a session right? When we're trying to feel better, and then when can we do the big strength movements? But you've got to be able to do the speed work that you need, right? So we got to set that up where it would be a specific split. That's what we're doing inside of our strength training at Peak Strength. That's what's going to help you get to that next level, is that you have that proper split with the lifting, with the speed work, with the jumps work, and with that mobility work being done, the mobility work done on a daily basis. And even just watching right here, watch him lower that shoulder again, get down into that good position. And that's the stuff, if you think about trunk control, we've talked about dynamic trunk control time and again, right? Right there, the stability that he has through his trunk because of those heavy cleans, because of those squats. It's simple, okay? But you've got to hold yourself accountable to do that over and over and over again. Let's see here, see if we can see. Boom, just running through the freaking Eagles line, which is actually insane because their line's stacked.
From the 25.
I'm gonna watch one more. Vision is also a byproduct of dynamic trunk control. Dynamic trunk control. Now,
and he should have been known a long time ago. We have this.
So we can talk about some of this old school footage here, and you can look and you can see it, and then he gets developed over time.
Actually, look at this dude. He sprawls and all stuff mixed together. Oh, yeah, he's breaking a couple tackles. This is good for high school. Yeah, we've seen this before. Okay, he's still going. It's got to be over there, right? Got to be over there. Nope. He's on the other side of it. Cameraman, he's the one scoring the touchdown. Yeah, that's him. Skattebo has like 4 plays from there. He has a kickoff return, I think, where he has something like that from high school. I have no idea how he ended up at Arizona State and kind of overlooked, but his head is the size of this desk.
His head's the size of the desk. I think a lot of the reason why he got overlooked was I don't think he blew up till his senior year. And that's why he got into a FCS, right? Look at that backflip. If you're taking a kid who is overlooked, right, what is the big factor? How are you going to take a normal person? Anybody can go do some freaking crazy functional stuff. But if you want to develop, it still comes back to doing the jumps, doing the sprints, doing the heavy cleans, doing the heavy squats, doing speed cleans like powers, doing speed squats, doing single leg squats, and then figuring out how that gets laid out. Cam Skattebo is an absolute dog and keeps it simple, which is why he's got a crazy which is why he's on an absolute tear this year in the NFL. If you guys need help with your programming, you want to get yourselves to the next level, click that first link in the description. Head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store. Download Peak Strength. Start clicking on, you want to play football? Let's get into football. You want to get into athletic fitness? You want to get into wrestling? Whatever that sport is. If you guys like content like this, click on this card right here, because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.